Hi, this video is about a journey of a customer. A journey where the customer increased his profitability from 3% to 23% in just 8 months using SAP Business One ERP. The customer that we're talking about is an industrial tire manufacturer, and please note that he is the 7th largest industrial tire manufacturer in the entire world. If you are not aware, then let me tell you, in a tire manufacturing industry, the raw materials used in the tire is 80% of the overall cost. Rubber, which is the primary raw material in tire, is a commodity which has huge fluctuation in the cost. Now, this would mean that maintaining a steady selling price to the end customer would always be a challenge until and unless you have a huge cushion built into your margin. Added to the price fluctuation of the rubber, this company also had loss of raw material in material handling, material issuing and reconciliation of the material. Further to this, during the build of the tire, there would be scraps, there would be reworks which would lead to more consumption of raw material to correct the issues. With all these issues, the cost price of the tire was never the same. Sometimes it was high and sometimes it was low. And the best part was the company was never in control of the cost price. And the worst part is the company was never in control of their cost. To add further, the company never knew if they were selling their tires in profit or in loss. Now this went on, they were shipping their tires to their customers, meeting their schedules, adhering to their timelines, delivered on time. Customers were very happy. The CFO of the company would provide the product profitability once in a quarter, and there used to be firework when this happened. Heated argument, CEO and the management would yell and shell at their people, and the employees would never know what went wrong and where it went wrong. Now in this situation, we get called in. The CEO tells us about their pathetic situation of the 3% profit that they are making. The product has a great acceptance, but at the end of the day, they are not making money. There's no profitability. Now in return to all his complaints, we just asked him one question. What is the minimum profitability that he would want to have on his products? Now he was already tired, he wasn't very ambitious, but he was desperate. So he just came up with this number. 10% is what I want immediately to begin with. Now here is the solution that we gave him. An ERP system which will not allow you to print your invoice if your profitability is less than 10%. Well, the CEO was stunned and he asked us, is this possible? Now that's when the journey began. Long story short, we implemented an SAP Business One ERP system and activated the gross profit analysis feature for this particular customer in a period of 4 to 5 months. The process which was built in SAP Business was this. An invoice which is about 10% in margin would go ahead, get created and get printed. If an invoice was less than 10% in margin, there would be an error thrown out and it would not be printed. Now for someone to process invoices below 10%, it had to go through a 2-stage approval. The first stage approval was to the head of operations and the second stage approval was to the CFO. Only if these two people approved, you could print the invoice and take out the material. Now the head of operations was empowered with functionalities where he could drill down and find out what was the root cause of the loss. He could track the batch of the tire which was responsible for making loss, and that batch was produced out of which production order, who was the supervisor or the workman who ran that production order. Was the loss because of excess consumption of the raw material, or was it because of the rework or wastage? He could find everything. Or if none of this, is it because of the increase in the raw material cost? And if so, he could also go further to find out who is the supplier who supplied the raw material. Now with these information, the head of operation could initiate a corrective action and tell exactly the batch number from which the same issue will not happen. If it was an unavoidable reason like the raw material price increase, he would give in the justification and the required corrective action and go ahead and approve it. The CFO would basically look out for these corrective actions or this justification and further approve it. And only after these two people approve it, the invoice could be printed and further the material could be loaded in the truck and taken out. Now the fun part. Guess what happened when this system came into action? There was chaos. Hell broke loose. Every other invoice couldn't be printed. There were people waiting to load the tires. Trucks started queuing up. Customers started calling. Deliveries and shipments were losing dates and targets, and everything was on a delay mode. Now all this happened because every invoice which was below 10% had to be analyzed, solutions to be found out and implemented from a particular batch whose batch number had to be given. So that's the power of the process if done correctly. The best part was the CEO. I should really commend and applaud his resolve and determination. He said, no matter what happens, until and unless we have the batch number from which the corrective action will take place, which also got checked when those batches came for invoicing. Now it was a very painful journey, but kudos to the team, they really pulled it through. They were easily doing 100 invoices per day before the gross profit check was put in place, but after the check, they were doing just 10 invoices per day. Now this went on. The first week they did 10 invoices, the second week they did about 20 to 30 invoices, the third week they did 4 invoices, and the team took 60 days to get back to their original count of 100 invoices per day. Now that was hella time, but the team pulled it through, making sure the corrective actions were taken in the consecutive batches. The team became so very powerful with this particular system in place that after 6 months, they came up with a plan to increase their bar from 10% profit margin to 15%. And guess what? They achieved it. In the 12th month, they once again raised their bar to 20% and they still achieved it. And today, they stand at 23% profitability as compared to 3% and what they were earlier. Now, here is the punchline. The whole exercise was not about finding the profitability before invoicing. It was something else, and that's the punchline. This company went from reviewing their profitability at an end of a quarter or end of the year in their financial statement to reviewing it at every invoice level. Meaning, if you get the profitability right, at an invoice level, definitely it will get reflected in your financial statements at the end of the period or end of the year. And to do this, SAP Business One equipped them with the necessary tools, features and functionalities. Now this is the journey that I was talking about. From a state where they never knew what was their cost price to a state where they absolutely controlled their cost is a transformational journey. Hi there, my name is Raman and I'm from a company called Emerging Alliance, a certified SAP channel partner which has been in business for the past 15 years. In my experience of working with more than 1,000 plus companies, we have come across a lot of use cases and case studies. We've come across a lot of issues and problems which we have sorted out using SAP Business One ERP. And we really are happy in sharing these case studies with you on this series of video. Now, if you are a company who needs similar requirements like this, please do talk to us, contact us. Our website details and our contact details are available in the description. We'll be more than happy to have a one-on-one call with you and discuss your requirements. Thank you and look forward to meeting you in one more video on SAP Business One.